Okay, so in this video, we are going to talk about how to do your cut lines, how to save your AI file, how to save your print file, how to save your SVG file, and then how to upload those last two files into your drive for processing. So to start off, I'm going to open up my template, my AI template that should be in my shared folder that the print shop created for me. This already has crop marks that I do not want to move because it's already locked. If we accidentally unlock it and move a crop mark, then the cut lines are going to be off. And this is very crucial. If the cut lines are going to be off, then it's going to cut your print file off. So make sure that you don't move them. If for whatever reason you accidentally move them, let me know and we'll address it together. So what I'm going to do here, I previously had a design that I'm going to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and hit File. I can open it and drag the designs in here, or I can place them. In this case, I'm going to place them. And so I'm going to go to My Documents under My Computer. And notice how I have my Grizzly graphic. I have the folder that's designated for all my designs in there. And then I have this design that I just worked with. I have my art file, my silhouette file, and I have the PSD file. This I save only on my computer. We will upload only the print file and the SVG file to the print shop drive. So I'm going to go ahead and open these two. If I want to select them at the same time, I'm going to click on the first one, hold down my control key, and then click on the second one here. So it selects just those two, and then I'm going to hit place. They're going to come up like so. I'm going to select this layer here, and then I'm going to try and put them as close to that edge as possible, and then this one as well. Now that I have them both, I'm going to drag the art file to the art layer, minimize that, and then I'm going to lock this because I'm only going to work with this layer for now. So on your AI display, the way it's set up, you will have these options up here. If you don't see image trace, then go into Windows and then click on image trace. If you don't see your layout like this, then go into Windows, Workspace, and Essential Classic. So I'm going to go ahead and click on image trace. I have my cut line layer selected. The way that I know that it's selected is because it's highlighted and then it shows the red here indicating that that layer is selected. So I'm going to hit image trace, and then I'm going to hit expand. I'm going to right click on my artwork or my artboard, and I'm going to click ungroup. And once I click ungroup, if you notice over here to the right hand side, it's going to ungroup everything. And so now I've got two paths and one compound. This compound one I'm going to delete because I don't need. Select everything again. And then what I want to do is that I want to make sure that the image comes up from the back. So in order to do that right now, my fill is in solid black and my stroke, it doesn't have a stroke. So I want to swap it. So having that selected, I'm going to click on this little arrow to swap them. And so my image comes through. You'll also notice a bunch of these little dots here. These are called your anchors. You have a corner anchor and a smooth anchor. A corner anchor is exactly that. Wherever there is a corner, that's where your corner anchor will be. So if I get this curvature tool and I select my flag only, you'll see that I have a corner anchor here and then a bunch of little smooth anchors. We want to simplify this because we have way too many to address. So again, I'm going to select everything here. Let me drag this over. I have my magnifying glass selected. And so I'm going to right click on the board and I'm going to hit simplify. And you'll notice that some of these will go away. Perfect. This emblem here is good. I can simplify this flag a little bit more if I select just that one and I'm still under my magnifying glass. Right click simplify. It'll tell me how much more do you want to simplify. I determine how much. In this case, the way it did it was perfect for me. So I'm going to leave it as that. Go back to my cut lines. And then I'm going to start addressing each one individually. So I'm going to grab my curvature tool, go into my flag one. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, grab that curvature tool again. I know I don't need a corner anchor here, so I'm going to delete that one. I don't need this smooth anchor here, delete that one. And so the corner anchor, the way it works when the machine starts cutting, it basically says you need to stop here, rotate, and then keep going. In this case, it's going to stop here, rotate, and then come down. And then there's a smooth anchor here. And all these are smooth anchors. I'm okay with those. I'm okay with that one. And then here I can, if I delete this one, it kind of changed this format. So I can maybe put a corner anchor there instead. And I'm good with that. So my flag is already addressed. I'm going to move over to my emblem. I'm going to click on that path. Now this, if I know that if I'm going to just kind of delete one just to show you, it starts distorting the cut line. So I'm not comfortable with that. I think those smooth anchors are there because they belong there. Here, I'm going to zoom in, grab my curvature tool. I'm good with that. Move over. And I'm good with the way that looks there too as well. So then that's it. That's really, I didn't really need to do much of um, adjustments on the cut lines. One thing that you'll notice is that it does not have a SKU number on here. So I failed to do that when I was designing on Photoshop. So one of the things that you want to do is that you want to unlock your art, select it, and then grab this text box, click on your board wherever there's empty space, and then make sure you put your SKU number on here. It's really important because not only does the SKU number indicate which way your design goes, but it's also if for whatever reason there's a misprint, there's a miscut, and we have to redo it, these get sold or these get processed later on, we need to make sure that the SKU number matches the board in case we don't have an order form for it. We know what number to look for whenever we need to cut. So again, make sure you do that. Notice that I accidentally moved my art. So if you end up doing that, you want to make sure that you do either Control Z or move it back in place. My artboard is at 48 by 24. So if I start saving files with my art um, unaligned, then we're going to have issues either when we print or when we cut because things are not going to match. So make sure that everything is properly aligned. In this case, I'm going to do Control Z, brings it back. Notice that everything is in place. Even if you don't have, let's say, you're like, okay, well, my cut lines are good. I'm going to select everything here just to kind of show you. Let's say you're designing and you say, well, my cut lines are good, my artboard is good. Um, but down here, you're over that artboard, you're going to have issues when it comes to cutting or when it comes to printing. And one of the major issues we've come across is that because our sheets, our larger sheets are 48 by 96, it's going to go off the sheet. It's going to print off of that sheet. So it's going to come down here. And if there's more items on that sheet, then it's going to screw up everything there. So you want to make sure that everything is aligned as it should be. In this case, I'm just going to select everything again, and we are aligned. So now we're going to start saving our files. So in this case, I'm going to go and save my AI, my Illustrator file. So I'm going to hit Save As. I'm going to go into, not that drive, I'm going to go into my personal folder. I have it here. And it's already selected as an AI. So I'm just going to do G001. I can just do that and delete the PSD. Germany quarter sheet. If it was a half sheet, HS. If it was a full sheet, FS. Hit save. And then make sure that everything here is selected as is, that's checked, and that these two are checked. And then hit OK. And so while that saves in the background, you can continue working on it. And so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to turn off my cut lines so that my print file does not have the cut line shown. So then I'm going to do File, Export, and I'm going to export this one as, because I had previously saved it as an AI, it already knows where to put it. So I'm going to do G001 Germany QS, and then you can do print file. And then JPEG is correct. I'm going to hit export. This is the CMYK. Do a quality of 10. Everything else should be as this, and then hit OK. And so now I'm going to turn the cut lines back on. I'm going to select my art, and I'm going to delete this layer. Why am I deleting the entire layer and not just the art? Because when we go and do a print, we only need to have the, when we go and do a cut, we only need to have your crop marks and your cut lines. So in this case, we only want these two layers at all times. So here I'm going to do File, Save As, and I'm going to save as an SVG. It's already in my designated folder. I'm going to hit Save there. Make sure everything is the way this is here, and then hit OK. And we're done. So then I can simply close this. And then if I go into my shared folder on my drive, the print shop shared the file that they did for me. So I have it under shared, Grizzly Graphic. I'm going to go into this folder. I already had this folder in here. If I didn't, I would right click and create a new folder, which I do already. Click here. And now I'm going to drop my files in here. So all I'm going to do is new file upload. I'm going to go into my documents wherever I have or wherever you have your file saved as. Mine's Grizzly Graphics, Germany. And all I need is my print file and my SVG. Everything else will stay in my personal folder. I'm going to hit open, and I'm going to let those load. And that's it. Once that's done, if there's an order for it already, then you want to contact the print shop, let them know, hey, I already have an order for this, it's pending, the files are already up. So you shoot us a message to the designer group, let us know that we're ready to go. If you guys have any questions, by all means, let me know, and we'll definitely address them, and I'll be available. Thank you.